I've got the spores, the sickness. There's the twins in my brain.
The first week of the Tour de France is behind us. It's time to discuss a couple of takes in this new episode of the Domestique Cycling Podcast. And joining me today are Bram and Ethan. Welcome, guys.
Hello.
Hi.
All right, we're here, 30 minutes after the finish of the gravel stage, stage 9, which was completely insane. How are you guys feeling after that stage?
Honestly, it was the most insane stage that we've seen in a long time. Maybe the most insane day of racing of this year. But my opinion on the gravel stage being in this tour has not changed. I don't think it should have been in the tour. But I think that will be a topic for today.
It should be a test, shouldn't it? Really, though. Let's be honest. It's a test. You need to test the riders, and it produced a wonderful result, didn't it? So
Let's go mountain bike downhilling next time.
Yeah.
If we want to test them.
Yeah.
You know, Ethan Bram is wearing the Remco cap again, so he's on the side of Patrick Lefevre, who is also completely against gravel stages. But after the stage, I think it was Klaas Lodewijk, sports director at Soudal QuickStep, he said that the gravel sectors were really artificial, like the organization must have pushed on it on the surface, and apparently it was totally different as when the riders did the recon. I think Remco did a couple of them, and he said, yeah, that was basically useless because the last couple of days, the surface has really, really changed.
I mean, if you looked at the camera, on the motorbike, the guy was like putting the camera dead low down to the gravel, and you could kind of see a little bit what they were meaning, weren't they? Like a lot of loose gravel and stuff like that. I don't know what Bram thinks there.
I think they just added a lot of gravel and then also compacted it in other areas. There were definitely sectors where you could see the holes had been filled in with fresh gravel, but not small gravel by any means, but like actual stones. Yeah, in my opinion, it's just unnecessary to have in the tour. But it produced extraordinary fun racing to watch.
Bram, let me ask, what do you think about cobbled stages then?
They're very much borderline. I think they have a much more of a strong history within the Tour de France. So you could say that gravel also has a history in Tour de France because people didn't used to have roads. But in my opinion, it's looking for danger. And in the end, do you want your tour to be decided by who's gotten the luckiest? Probably not. You want to have the strongest.
Do you think Tour de France organization wants to meet up expectations coming from Giro d'Italia and Vuelta a España?
There's definitely going to be a big part of that. The Giro has been introducing spectacle for, decades. And yeah, it keeps leveling up a little bit. And just this is the next level. So yeah, I think they're going to do it again. In my opinion, it shouldn't happen, but they're going to keep doing it.
They will do it again, surely. Especially after today. It's a success. You have to not deny it.
And after all, there was bad luck, but not too much, I had the feeling. We saw a great race with some big moves in it. But after all, the GC hasn't changed much.
So the Tour de France organizers got lucky.
And that means we'll see it again. No, let's talk about the race itself. Tadej Pogacar, the yellow jersey, he was once again incredibly strong, wasn't he?
He's just having fun riding his bike as usual, isn't he? Really, I think. Before the stage on the Tour Twitter account or X account, we seen that he made a joke saying that he's going to attack from 82 kilometers again, and then it was 89. So yeah,
I think we saw like 4 or 5 attacks from him. Again, that brings us to my first take I had written down, which is without bad luck, Tadej Pogacar will win this Tour de France. What do you think?
it's 99.9, I think, really. But
you guys already had him as a pre-race favorite, so I feel like I have to defend it because I was the only one who picked someone else, and it's Remco, and he's in second place on 33 seconds, which is Pretty good. Will he be able to put time into Pogacar without Pogacar having bad luck? It's going to be very hard, but one of those stages, I think actually on a flat stage, that's where it happens. If anywhere Remco is going to put time into Pogacar, it's going to be on one of those windy flat stages because UAE has been an absolute disaster in those.
The main issue for
Exactly.
me, going to Pogacar, how it's 99.9%, I think, is due to the fact, Visma Lease bike don't have the numbers really compared to UAE. That's my main theory of it. Because you've seen last year where Pogacar was basically ganged up on, wasn't he? Let's be honest. So yeah, I think we're going to see a reverse of that this year. But people say Jonas week 3. Ooh, I don't know.
Let's maybe talk about the UAE Team Emirates team first. That was another take of mine written down. They are not good enough on the flat. Bram, you mentioned it already. We've seen it a couple of times this week that Pogacar, for instance, in the echelon stage, was completely isolated at the front in a group of around 40, 50 riders. That's not normal if you want to be the best team in the world, in my opinion. Today in the gravel stage, they were really good. Wellens, Pollitt did a lot of work. Ayuso, Almeida, Yates were there in the final. In the mountains, they're insane. But do you think this team is strong enough?
I think in the flat stage, it's just been a sort of a problem of focus, perhaps, where you would expect Pollitt and Wellens to just always be around Pogacar, just be his bodyguards. It just doesn't happen. Like they're hanging out around the back or just getting bottles, which I guess they also need to do, and then suddenly it kicks off and Pogacar is alone at the front. You even don't have someone like Ayuso or Yates or Almeida hanging out the front, hanging around the front. It's just Pogacar's there by himself, and somehow that happens. I don't get it.
We said it before the start of Tour de France that the mountain train of UAE Team Emirates is incredible. Do you think Jonas Vingegaard has a way to beat those guys in the mountains?
No, I don't think.
Attack and isolate, like make it a one-on-one fight. In the past, he's been able to play out the numbers from Visma and weaken Pogacar that way. But now the roles are reversed. He needs to swap that strategy as well and just attack and make it a man-to-man fight.
What about Jonas Vingegaard today in the gravel stage, guys? This is probably the most hot topic after the race. Remco Evenepoel, he attacked together with Tadej Pogacar. Jonas Vingegaard was on the wheels, but yeah, he didn't want to cooperate. Then later on in the final, Jurgensen brought Vingegaard towards Pogacar again. The two of them didn't want to cooperate. On the other hand, Pogacar, he was going full gas all day. Do you think Vingegaard was scared of losing teammates in case of any bad luck, mechanical problems? Or what was the reason?
I think it's just not his terrain, and that if he does put in the extra effort on the next sector, Pogacar is just going to put in an attack and drop him, and then he loses 20 or 30 seconds. So it's just more of I'm just going to be on your wheel for this whole stage, and I'm not going to take any pulls. I'm not going to take any extra risks required, and just play it safe. We'll decide this in the mountains.
Can I say Visma Lease bike didn't win a lot of fans today?
I mean, yeah, obviously you see the people on X calling him Aurelus. I see Nairo in Green saying he's an enemy to Ciclismo and things like that, which is obviously, in my opinion, it was quite boring. I would like to see him cooperate, but yeah, I like Bram said, if Pogacar would probably have just gone completely with him.
Well, in a certain way, it shows that Vingegaard is still thinking about the overall win. Evenepoel was behind him. Roglic was dropped, and even then he didn't want to cooperate. So if a rider is thinking about the podium in Nice, I think they would take turns immediately just to put time into Evenepoel and Roglic. But yeah, he's clearly thinking about week 3 and that yellow jersey. But in my honest opinion, I think it will be hard to beat this Tadej Pogacar.
Yeah, it was also, I think, Evenepoel in an interview after the race said that it was a pity that Jonas didn't work when the three of them went away. Because if all three of them started pulling, they basically could have locked in Podium and taken 3 or 4 minutes.
And
That's why he said.
that is the difference in perspective, because Remco Evenepoel is targeting Podium. He already said it before that Pogacar is untouchable in his opinion. He wanted to take time on Primoz Roglic.
Yeah.
Roglic did well today, I must admit. I exceeded my expectations. I thought he was going to lose a lot of time, but he didn't.
Yeah, but can you say he did well? He got dropped like 2 or 3 times.
I mean, he did well. He fought well. His team, on the other hand, his team were not very good, in my opinion, positioning him. That's what I think.
Bad crash by Vlasov as
Yes,
well.
I don't understand. How would they let him get back on the bike when he was literally nearly falling over? The mechanic there should have done more, in my opinion.
Yeah, I
But
think the UCI should definitely look at that mechanic and put a fine on it. Because if they're going to put fines, like putting a rider who's just wobbling on his legs back on the bike without doing a proper concussion check is that could end so badly.
Bram, please take us back to the moment Remco Evenepoel attacks. What went through your mind? Yellow jersey.
No, I wouldn't put it that far. But I was like, oh shit, it's going down. He's actually doing this in a stage where most people thought he would fail and lose time, and he's just going like, nah, I'm going for this. And honestly, kudos to him. He's in this fight for real.
Absolutely. He's been riding pretty defensively the first week. That's why I didn't expect an attack from him today, especially not on that surface. I thought he would have been a little uncomfortable on it. But seeing that Remco attack, it's just prime Evenepoel. No thinking, going full gas. Ciclismo, Ethan.
It is ciclismo, yeah. Not like some boringness. See, that's what you like with everyone likes with Evenepoel, don't they? He just attacks and always is like giving a show for the fans. It's like Pogacar, but Vingegaard, you don't really see that, do you?
That brings us to my third take, which says that Remco Evenepoel is ready to step up on the final podium in Nice. What do you think?
Yeah, I think 100%. Before the race, we were talking about the big four. I think we have to talk about the big three. I do not consider Roglic should be a part of that leading group anymore. There's been one mountain stage, and Roglic was like, the thing is, we've only seen Roglic at the back of groups. He's done nothing but follow and still has lost something like 2 minutes. So no, he to me is not part of the contenders for podium anymore.
Because you've seen on the Galibier stage, because of Ayuso and Almeida, they're bickering. He would have lost minutes, wouldn't he? So yeah, that is
Ethan, don't you think Roglic can still grow into this race?
Poor. I think it was EPO was saying to me that he believes as well that Roglic will just crack in the third week, which I believe he also will crack in the third week as well. And this first week, I don't understand how he's not lost more minutes, in all honesty, generally.
Guys, we need to talk about the winner of the gravel stage as well. Last year, we joked with Cofidis being a bad team. They won 2 stages. We basically did the same in the preview about Total Energies, and here they are. Anthony Turgis, he won a stage.
Did Bram curse him or something?
People should start paying us and just be like, the team that you ignore in the preview is going to be the team that wins 1 or 2 stages. So teams, if you're listening, hit me up and we can arrange something.
What about Jasper Stuyven? The guy has been so close to victories in Tour de France on multiple occasions, and once again he got caught within the final kilometer. That's a pure heartbreak.
Lutsenko, man. Lutsenko. He closes that gap for no reason at all.
And his race was over as well.
Yeah, he just, I'll just close this gap and then sprint. Oh, no, I'm just going to close the gap and then let someone else win. Why the hell did he do that?
The movie star men were messing around, weren't they? You'd expect one of them to at least pull, well, Aaron Brewer's teammate, but
Yeah,
he was
Roma just didn't have
he
it.
was completely gone. So
Yeah, the sprint.
same old movie star.
Aramburu's sprint was worthless as well.
Yeah. Going into that finish, you'd expect Aaron Brewer to run right, wouldn't you? So, but
Ethan, who is your man of the first week?
well, you know he's going to be, don't you? It has to be.
I do.
It has to be the guy who just literally do the live, yeah, and the start. I may as well literally just schedule it in. He's attacks every minute. Jonas Abrahamson is just, I don't understand. Genuinely
It
don't
is
understand.
incredible. I
Yeah,
can't think
I
of a
don't
stage in which he wasn't at the front or didn't attack, to be honest.
There's not been one, I think. He's
No,
attacked on every
well,
stage, hasn't he? Yeah, I think he has.
the best one was with Coolset when they both
Yeah,
waited at the side of the road. No, it's incredible. He wore green. He's now in polka dots, and he's an absolute monster, isn't he?
Yeah, he just literally is like has something inside of him where he just like renews himself. It's crazy. And for the team as well to have the polka dots for so long is amazing to see as a fan as well.
Can you win the combativity award for 3 weeks just based on 1 week?
I think he probably deserves it, you know.
I mean, just based off of the first week, who else would be in contention of overall combativity?
No one.
No
one comes close. So he's just dominated first week. So yeah.
Case closed. Binyam Girmay, he wrote history, winning one stage. A couple of days later, he won two. Today, he got into the attack again in the chasing group together with Mathieu van der Poel. He's now in the green jersey. What do you guys think? Can he keep it until Nice?
I think he's what he wanted, in my opinion. I don't know what Bram thinks.
I think he's in the driver's seat for it. Like it's his to win now. The gap to Philipsen is about 100 points, I think.
96.
At this point.
96.
No, it has to be more.
No?
Is it 69 or it was 88 yesterday? Or did Philipsen take points back today?
96, it is. I can see it here. So Girmay, he has 224 points. Philipsen 128, and Abrahamsen is in third with 107.
When did Philipsen take? Did Philipsen take extra points today?
No, he didn't.
No.
He got bad luck.
Okay, I thought the gap was bigger. Okay, then
so it's almost 100 points. Philipsen need to win like 2 stages, and on the same time, Girmay can't finish on the podium, I think.
Yeah,
I don't see that happening.
Yeah, no. I think it's Girmay's to take. Honestly, Philipsen doesn't quite have it this year. He's been saying it himself. Like whatever happened right last year, just is 10% less this year. A little bit more bad luck. A little bit more correctness from the UCI commissaires. So. Yeah, I think Girmay takes the green jersey home.
We need to talk about those UCI commissaires as well. For the Julien Bernard incident during the individual time trial, the guy stopped and to give a hug and kiss to his wife and child, and then he got fined for it afterwards. Isn't that ridiculous, mate?
It is. I did hear today an interesting theory about why he actually got fined, and it would be that the rider behind him could be endangered, but I don't know.
It is absolutely ridiculous if that's the reason, because in an interview, Bernard, he said, I pushed myself to the limit on the first part of that individual time trial to make sure I had time enough in front of the rider behind me to make that stop. I mean, come on.
I mean, he actually had a pretty good time in the TT at the end. Considering that he stopped, I think he was like 2 minutes down, which actually wasn't that bad. But yeah, that was definitely some over eagerness on the UCI commissaire's part.
I mean, that's not the priority in cycling, isn't it? We've been talking here about safety of riders for weeks, for months, for years. In Austria, we unfortunately lost another rider with Andre Drege after his crash. And then, yeah, UCI is just looking at those stupid things. What do you think, Ethan?
The UCI needs to do more and as soon as possible, in my opinion, because it's like they just want to like have more deaths happen and more deaths happen without doing anything until they do something. So yeah, because and you see people like, for example, you see the Philipsen crash here. If that caused something bad, then everyone will be like, oh, that will be a relegation and things like that, yeah, or punishment. But because there was no crash, people are saying, oh, that shouldn't have been a punishment and things like that.
Yeah, exactly. The result of an action doesn't shouldn't reflect the punishment. It's just if you do a bad action, you should get punished. But when we're talking about the Bernache incident, where it's just I don't even know why they're pulling that rule. Like the image of the sport was improved by whatever Bernache
Exactly,
did
yeah.
that day.
Yes.
It didn't get harmed. So that's just weird.
Guys, there's a couple of sprint stages coming up in week 2. The legend Mark Cavendish, he took his 35th win. Do you think 36 is on the way as well?
Yes, I think. Now we see. Look how good the Astana train looks. It's a well-oiled machine, I think, as well. But Intermarché as well has been well-oiled as well. Alpecin, they're a bit. Ooh, I don't know what they're doing, but yeah, I don't know what Bram thinks there.
I think 36 could happen, but it's the same with 35. Everything has to fall right again. But the team has been really impressive, and also just their attention to detail. Like they're pulling out the whole marginal gain strategy again, and it works. I think Groenewegen as well is really fast this year. I don't know if that's because of the glasses. I really hope it's not because of the glasses, because then more people will start wearing them, and it's absolutely dreadful. But yeah, with Intermarché, their team's also doing super well. I do feel a little bit for Gerben Thijssen, who's been brought in to ride the flat sprints. I don't think he's gonna have that opportunity anymore because now the green jersey isn't like an actual thing that they could go for. So I think Gerben Thijssen is just now domestique for Biniam.
It's crazy though what the influence that can have if Girmay wins the green jersey for all of African cycling, even his stage wins as well. Just the scenes you see him on X and Instagram, they're absolutely crazy, and I love them.
Yeah, I mean we have the World Championship coming up in Rwanda as well, I think. So that's going to be amazing.
Looking back on that first week of racing in France and a little bit in Italy, did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I mean, how do you not enjoy the Tour de France? Like it's just awesome. There's been a couple of stages that have been a little bit boring. The one with the attack from Abrahamsen and Coolset, that was definitely a snooze fest. I even had to pass off the live early because they were running so far behind schedule that I was running late picking up my daughter. So thank you for that, Peloton. Yeah, for the most part, it's been absolutely amazing.
But even then, I don't know if you guys share that feeling. I am always afraid of missing an important moment in the Tour de France, even if it's the most boring stage ever. I'm always scared of missing out on something.
You turn it off, yeah, and then something would happen, and you're like, "Oh, I've missed it," isn't it? But like going back to it, I don't think this the most random like generated of like winners of the Tour de France stage probably ever at the start of an opening weekend. I think. Would anyone have ever guessed any of those winners in a row, like up to 5? No, no chance.
I don't know.
It's crazy.
You could expect Remco winning the TT. You could expect Pogacar winning Galibier.
Yeah, okay, fair enough there, yeah. But the opening weekend in Italy, that is just poof.
Yeah, that was definitely a very nice opening weekend.
I'm curious to hear your moments of the first week.
Oh, you should have asked me that sooner.
Should I go first?
Yeah, go
Yes.
first, and then we get some time to think.
For me, it was something I was hoping on to happen before Tour de France, and then it did happen. Mark Cavendish taking the record, especially after that first day on which he had to throw up during the race. He was dropped like after half an hour of racing in Italy due to the heat. I thought, yeah, this is over. Cavendish is going home. But nope, his team got him through it, and then he ends up taking the victory. That was just amazing. That's my moment of this first week. Who's next?
Go for it, Ethan.
It's hard to pick, isn't it? You can't really pick one. I'd say Gumai stage win, generally, because that just came out of nowhere, and because that is just, I think the role it plays as well. The role it plays generally and the importance of it. So that's why I'm picking that. I was going to pick Pogacar's tag, but man, it's a bit boring. Basic.
Which one of the 25?
Oh, his Galibier antics.
All right, well, that ruins my moment then, because I was gonna pick the UAE train on the Galileo. It's not exactly a moment, but just, well, it's a good 45 minutes of absolute domination that is rarely seen in cycling. They set, what did they take 2 minutes off the KOM into a headwind? Insane. So yeah, that for me is the moment. I'm not picking the Remco TT win, although that is beautiful as well.
I would have expected, Bram, the flat tire alert.
Yeah,
that was just a weird moment. It's
he
not my favorite
definitely
moment.
absolutely shit himself then when that happened. He was absolutely shaking.
I mean, I was doing the live at that point, and you go, oh, it's 10 seconds gap, and then he goes and checks for a flat tire. I'm like, no. And yeah, it's I'm gonna go with the UAE train on the Galibier.
All right, guys. That was it for this first week and this episode of the Domestique Cycling Podcast. Thanks for joining me on this episode, and thanks to the audience for listening and tuning in. We will be back with this podcast next week after the second week of racing in France. Au revoir.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
I've got the spots, the sickness. There's the twins in my brain.